So I've been thinking, because I've had a lot of time to drive on this trip that I'm on with the wife, and I can't help but wonder, is Gervonta Davis playing 4-dimensional 4D chess while the rest of us are playing checkers with this Jake Paul fight? Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, share the video, turn on your notifications. We live Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday night at 7:30. I'm also live Sunday mornings with the Singing OG KQKC Boxing Network. Sunday mornings, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Join the channel as a member. Drop super chats and super things when you come by the live streams and the videos that we do. If you want to debate, knockoutboxing86@yahoo.com is the email address. Now, I've been thinking, as I've taken my emotions out of this situation with Tank Davis and Jake Paul, and what I want to put on the young man and the greatness that I want him to obtain and the fights that I want to see him fight, we cooked on that. And I still maintain it's a trash ass fight. I still maintain this is a bogus ass fight. As a fan, as an analyst, I'm wondering right now, is he playing 4D chess while the rest of us are playing checkers? Now, before I say that, let me say again, let me repeat and reiterate, this fight is trash. I'm not vibing with it. I don't like the move. I think it's trash. As a fan, I hate this fight. Now, as a boxing analyst, when I think about the business of boxing, and I think about the landscape of boxing, and how Turkey is trying to push for pay-per-views to go away, how boxing has changed into these streaming platforms, how everybody thought it was checkmate, game over, Turkey Al-Sheikh putting on Canelo and Crawford. That's by far the biggest event of the year at the time, right? We all agreed to that. We all conceded that. We all know that, right? But I can't help but wonder, is this a chess move where it looked ugly? It looked like you made a move where you lose it, but in reality, it's setting you up for the victory if you Gervonta Tank Davis. Let me explain why I'm saying what I'm saying. What does this move accomplish for him? Everyone's looking at the bag, the generational wealth, the 50 million, the 100 million, right? Whatever it is y'all saying he making. That's cool. That's cool, whatever. But to take it a step further, to get off of the surface level of what he's making now, when this breaks records, because it will break records, when this becomes the biggest event of the year, because make no mistake about it, Tank Davis and Jake Paul are going to do better numbers than Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Crawford. Now, maybe not live gate attendance-wise, because Canelo and Crawford are fighting in a football stadium, and I believe Tank and Jake are fighting in State Farm Arena. It's a basketball arena. It holds less people. But I wonder how much them tickets gonna cost. I wonder how much them tickets gonna cost. And they could probably generate more money at the live gate. But the numbers that they really gonna do and kick Canelo and Crawford ass is them damn streaming numbers. That's where shit's gonna get spooky. That's where shit's gonna get spooky for the game of boxing. Because what this accomplishes is not just Tank Davis getting a shit ton of money, in my opinion. Every single fight that he has after this, should he continue to fight, just became astronomically bigger. The business that he can try to go do and Al Heyman can try to go do for him, when they go sit down, and not only do they have his pay-per-view numbers that he did, but they able to talk about these streaming numbers that he's about to do with Jake Paul, I can't help but wonder, is this a damn checkmate chess move, bro? Because whatever fight you want to see him in, that fight just got bigger. he just put more money on the table for himself and his potential opponents. This also will accomplish him having leverage over everyone when leverage was trying to be taken away from him by Turkey Al-Sheikh. This will accomplish that, bro. Again, let me reiterate, because I've said it twice now. I need y'all to understand. I'm analyzing this shit, but understand, this shit is trash. This shit is garbage. I don't like the move. It's a horrible fight. But the more you think about it, it is an outstanding business move from the standpoint of giving him even more leverage, making him a bigger star, and making his bags even bigger in the future. Maybe they won't be as big as this Jake Paul bag, but whatever bag he would have gotten for fighting Lamont Roach, if he fights him after this, it's going to be bigger. Whatever he would have got after fighting for fighting a Shakur Stevenson, if he were to fight a Shakur Stevenson, that bag is much bigger now. However many pay-per-views you think he would sell if he goes back on pay-per-view against these fighters, he will sell a whole lot more now because of this fight with Jake Paul and the fan base that he's tapping into with this fight. Whatever he would have streamed if him and Lamont Roach just went on Prime and just streamed for free, or just went on Netflix and just streamed for free, or just went to some other platform and streamed for free, if him and Shakur just streamed for free, whatever those numbers would have been, they're going to be astronomically bigger now after the Jake Paul fight. He's getting a huge bag, and he's making all his bags in the future bigger. In my opinion, my humble opinion. And you got to think about it like this, bro. I'm sure everybody remembers. There have been certain times throughout fighters' careers where they get heavily criticized, but then they can make that shit go away with one move. There's been times athletes have been heavily criticized, but then they make that shit go away with one performance or one accolade. If Tank Davis fights Jake Paul and he retires, he will be criticized into oblivion, and he will be seen as an underachiever in the sport of boxing. If he fights Jake Paul and then he goes on to fight the fights that people want to see him fight, and I'm not saying I trust him to do this shit. I have no trust right now. I'm just breaking this shit down for y'all so you can understand. If he fights Jake Paul and then he goes on to fight all the fights we want to see him fight, and he wins those, no one's going to give a fuck that he fought Jake Paul in the long run. People are going to call it a damn good move. Because what I do know is that if he chooses not to retire, and I saw the tweet, I got another video coming on what he said about Shakur Stevenson. Looks like he ain't planning to retire. But again, with Tank, 1 minute you're retiring, the next minute you love the sport, then you don't love the sport. You're retiring at the end of 2025, but now you got the 6-7 fight deal. You still talking about like you don't know. You don't know, bro. So I'm not saying I trust anything. I'm in show me mode with Tank. I'm in wait and see mode. But I can still analyze it and still break it down for y'all. And yes, that young man is still my favorite fighter. I don't give a damn what y'all say. So while this fight is trash in the ring, while this fight is garbage from a legacy perspective, from a business perspective, it does look like a bit of a checkmate move from Gervonta Tank Davis to the rest of boxing. Because I've seen Ryan Garcia call out Jake Paul a lot. You're not going to convince me that there's any fighter in boxing that is hating on Tank Davis right now that wouldn't take $100 million or $50 million or whatever the hell he's getting to fight Jake Paul. I know it's an astronomical number. People keep throwing out these numbers. I don't know where the fuck they coming from. But I know it's fucking huge. I know it's huge. And again, fight's trash, fight's garbage. The move from a competitive standpoint is horrible. But bruh, if he fights Jake Paul and then comes back in 2026, rematches Lamont Roach, fights Shakur Stevenson, When that's all said and done, are people really gonna give a damn that he fought Jake Paul? Are we being prisoners of the moment? Because the business implications are clear. Whatever happens in this Jake Paul fight, Tank Davis will be an even bigger superstar. That's clear. He became an even bigger superstar by simply announcing this fight. Tank Davis goes viral a lot, bro. He's a huge name a lot. But when they announced this shit, bro, I ain't never seen anything in boxing break the internet the way this shit done broke the internet, bro. So I ask y'all, is he playing chess while the rest of us is stuck playing checkers? Is he smarter? Is his team even smarter than what we thought they were? Because right when it looked like Tank Davis was losing a little bit of his leverage, losing a little bit of his superstar status, and the playing field looked like it was getting even because of Turkey, and dudes was like, man, I just, let's do it through Turkey. I'm going to do this Turkey. He just upstaged everybody in boxing, bro. These Canelo and Crawford people that's acting like this fight was so huge, man, they ain't talked about that shit in days. They ain't talked about Canelo and Crawford in days, bro. Forgot that shit was even going on. And then Jake Paul is known for having some fire undercards of his fights. If they put together a nasty undercard to go with this, numbers might go crazy. I don't know, bro. I think I've got my final take on this Tank and Jake Paul fight. I think my final take is it's trash. It's garbage. It's not what we want in the sport of boxing. But if you're trying to accumulate power, if you're trying to accumulate money, if you're trying to look to the future and make sure that your fights are even bigger, that your toughest fights will get you as much money as they possibly can get you. If that is what you are doing, then boy, this is a hell of a chess move, boy. This is a hell of a move to get that leverage, get that power, get them numbers up, get that star power up, to get your bag up. This is one of the moves, bro. If that's what this is. Now, again, I don't trust this shit. This could just be, nigga, I'm finna fight Jake Paul and retire. Bye. See y'all later. So we have to wait and see. And because of this move, there's no trusting. You can't trust anything when it comes to Gervonta, Tank Davis, and PBC. They was promoting the hell out of the Tank and Roach fight, like they were about to do Tank and Roach, and then they curveball our ass, and Tank is fighting Jake Paul. So you can't trust none of the shit and know for a fact what's going on. But I will say that if this is what's going on, bro, it is a hell of a chess move, because it's gonna put the ball back in his court so crazy. When he get done with Jake Paul and everybody see them numbers, in the business of boxing see them numbers, man, every promoter, every fighter under the sun gonna be calling for their fighter to fight Gervonta Tank Davis even more so than they do right now, bro. When they see the money that this fight generate and they see the numbers that this shit streams, bro. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Comment, this gonna make Prime wanna put even more money behind them. Netflix gonna want them back. Hey man, look, bro, we can get you to fight such and such, man. We'll pay you this because them numbers was nasty. It's a hell of a chess move. Really good for business for Tank. Fucking horrible in the ring. Horrible from a competitive standpoint. Horrible from a legacy standpoint. And if he retires after this shit, it will be one of the most disappointing wastes of talent in boxing that we've seen. But if he goes on to go get those legacy fights and those competitive fights, this would have been a great move because he made those fights bigger, and no one will give a fuck that he did this shit if he go back and fight the fights that we want to see. The problem is, you could be waiting till it's too late. People could lose. Other people could retire. You already lost out on Loma shit. Loma ducked out and retired right when y'all was about to fight. That shit already happened once. So, we'll see what happens, bro. I'm very, very interested to see what happens after this fight. Not in the fight, but I want to see how he moves. I want to see what the vibe is. I want to see what goes on after this. Because this fight shouldn't have no wear and tear. It shouldn't be no tough fight. It's fucking Jake Paul. Give a damn how big he is. He trash in comparison. He shouldn't even be able to touch Tank Davis. Should be an easy night's work. Meaning he should be able to come back in February, March, or some shit like that. So, y'all let me know what y'all think. 4D chess? The rest of us playing checkers? What the hell going on? Smash like, sub up. I'll see y'all soon. Peace!